Bitcoin is pumping, altcoins starting to pump as well. What is next for Bitcoin and altcoins? Is this a bull trap? Will it wash back out to the downside, or was that washout what we needed? Prices going higher, prices pushing up into Q1. What's happening with Trump's executive orders? What's happening with the crypto market moving forward? What is the next major move? We're going to be talking about all that and more here on the BitLab Academy stream here in just a matter of moments. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Make sure that you are retweeting this out, getting this, I sent out a bunch of giveaways yesterday. So everybody that's waiting on those, they're all coming at different times because, from Canada to Seattle to LA to all over the place. Spent almost $200 and to send all that stuff out with UPS. But I want to make sure you guys get all the goods you got. And all you got to do to enter is retweet this on over at the @Kellam or at Academy BitLab, the live stream. Go ahead, hit that retweet. Everybody, we're going to dive right on into this today. We're jumping right into the market because it is moving around. We got to make sure that we are prepared. So let me go ahead and get this comments posted with all the links with our sponsors, or give all the different stuff there in on the bottom of that live stream. So if you're ready to go, drop a 1 in chat. Let me know, are you bullish? Are you bearish on today's price action through the end of tomorrow? Tomorrow we have that CPI print. We're going to be looking at some targets and levels. So everybody, if you're ready, I want to see you getting active in the live chat right now, whether you're on YouTube or Twitter. Get active. Let's dive into this. Let's go. Market sweeping the lows, making everybody so scared it was going to go down, and it still might, but it also could be breaking up from here, because when we look at what's happening on this chart, holy moly, did this just wash people out. We talked about this yesterday, and we talked about getting back above about this $95,000, $96,000 mark, which we kind of peaked up above, and we're kind of sitting a little bit below it now. And interestingly, look at where that reversal took place. Let's go ahead and delete this Fibonacci and look at this. Let's measure it. Option F if you're on Mac, Alt F if you're on PC, automatically pulls up your fib. And look at this, comes right up just below this golden pocket of this move. That area that is one of the most high hit rate sort of reversal area, whether you're breaking down and bouncing or you're reversing up and rejecting. And this is exactly where we reversed from. In fact, we also saw this right here. Look at that. Boom. Actually come down a little bit lower. Look at where this reversed, right at the golden pocket. Now look at this bounce come up right at the golden pocket. So it doesn't mean that we have a direction in mind yet of what's absolutely coming next just from this Fibonacci, but this is something that we need to highlight. The bounce up here could not quite take this. We really want to see what happens between, once we break out of this. Maybe we break above this, find some support, and then break out. Maybe we actually reject here, come down, find some support. What would I think be best is if the price action, as it is happening, coming down, finding some support, doing some chopping in here, coming and then moving out like this. But we're going to have to see. It might even yet come down, reject, come down, and still make that move to the downside. I'm going to show you what the data is saying, what we need to be paying attention to, and most of all, let you all know that I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I love you. I appreciate you. All of you, over the last 2 years, we're coming up on that 2-year mark for the channel. BitLab's been around for about 4 years. But we started the channel about 2 years ago, and we have such a wonderful community here. So every single one of you, give yourself a pat on the back for being here. And it's so many of you. I see you in the live chat. I see your name. If you're live chatting, that's when I really get to know who you guys are. Even if you drop one thing a day, I see it all right here next to my screen, whether you're on YouTube or Twitter. And I just want to tell you again how much I appreciate all of you and being in this community with you together. Now, when we're diving into what's going on right now, let's go ahead and just realize that nothing really has changed. We're just seeing chop up, chop down. We're still in that same range. We're at $3.3 trillion, still under the $2 trillion mark for Bitcoin. I expect we'll probably be back over that soon. Ethereum, just under 400 billion. XRP, everybody, sitting here at almost 150 billion. And there's some very strong bullishness coming in for XRP, kind of switching the narrative for everybody that was bearish. This is one of the stronger looking assets in the space. You can even see it just from these charts. Look at all these charts. Red, 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 red. Look at XRP has just been melting to the upside with a little washout, but I mean, we're seeing some bullishness, and there's some news we're going to be covering on this today. Nick Dunn, you know what? Yeah, you can be a mod, but I gotta clear it with our main lead mod, because I let her run all that. I'll chat with Alexander G about it. But I got you in mind for sure. Chris Pfaff, how you doing? Sack Nasty 86, Minja Fourth, good to see you again, my friend. Nasty's mom, we got so many people. Andy D, Tater, how you doing? One House Productions, shout out to everybody there. So we're gonna be talking a little bit about, the market, but Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, sort of the main topics we're talking about today. And also, of course, Chainlink, and we're going to be diving into quite a few other coins as well here in just a few moments. But while we're doing that, I want each and every one of you to ask yourself, what's your goal? If you had to set something right now and not look at your computer between now and the end of the year, what would be your goal? Would you already set targets for exits? Do you have a time frame in mind of when you be like, if nothing changed based on historical predictions and what you're expecting this year, where are you expecting to start to take some profits out of the market? Do you have price levels in mind? Do you have a variety of price levels in mind? Let's make sure we have that in our mind now, so when the price action starts to mature in terms of time frame and also price appreciation to the upside, if you don't have something in mind before it happens, you're going to set yourself up for failure. In addition to that, even if you have something in mind for what your strategy is going to be, you also need to make sure that, because we're going to be here regularly, you need to still remain adaptable to adjust things based on the context of what's happening in the market. So with that being said, I do want to say, again, thank you all for being here. Now let's go ahead and dive in to some of the things that we want to talk about today. Of course, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but we got to talk about it. President-elect Trump expected to issue executive orders related to crypto policies on his first day in office. This is massive. This is one of the reasons we got a little bit of that boost yesterday. But is this the reason the market boosted? Or is it also, this is just how markets move? It's a little bit of both. Ken says, hey, Kelly, new subscriber here. Would you agree that there is no alt season without an ETH rally? I would say it's going to be unlikely that we have the alt season people are expecting if ETH doesn't rally also. I think the alt market, being that Ethereum is kind of a major underpinning of the majority of the altcoin market, without an ETH rally, it kind of suppresses the risk on narrative that happens in the alts. However, what we have seen in this cycle, and actually I would say over the last 3 years, is we've seen sort of intermediary, sort of individual niche. I don't know why I'm holding pizza Parmesan cheese pack in my hand, but throw that down. We've seen independent sort of niches have their own little mini cycles. We saw it with AI, about almost a year ago now, maybe a little under a year ago. We've seen, in the cycles past, we've seen gaming, we saw the metaverse, we saw NFT have their own cycle. We had DeFi summer, and over this last year, we've had 2 or 3 little mini meme coin cycle with massive pumps in the meme market and then sell off. So we've also saw the deep end sort of mini cycle. So we have been kind of seeing this liquidity flow throughout the space, but it's just been a lot of capital rotation just within the altcoin ecosystem. It hasn't been a lot of new capital coming in. What we're really looking for alt season, and I'm talking where you just throw a dart at the top 200 and nearly everything is just pumping 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% a day, depending on the size of the market cap. We haven't seen that yet. And I do think we're waiting a little bit on ETH having its run. And I still think ETH is going to have its run. I think Chainlink's going to be a top performer. I think XRP is going to be a top performer. I think Solana is going to be a top performer. I think Dog Culture Coin, Dog Meme Coin on Bitcoin is going to blow people's mind. I think it's going to really have some incredible price action once the risk on market really starts to heat up, because we still haven't really seen that. Even with Bitcoin having its big run post election, December 6th onward, that was a lot of the political pressure and uncertainty shifting winds, and having the excitement and speculative hope about this Bitcoin and crypto focused administration that's coming into office, which we're still in that uncertainty mark a little bit. Because we had the speculative push, we're having a little bit of the sideways action, a little bit of a sell-off. I think post January 20th is when we're really going to start to see things heat up across the board for the market. Does that mean January 21st? Maybe. But I would expect by the end of January, if we don't see it between now and then, by the end of January, I do expect we're going to see some very bullish price action. February and March, I think, are going to be just melt your face off. Golly, thank God we were all together here at the BitLab stacking. That's when we're going to be so excited about the gains in our portfolio. So everything we do right now is going to have a dramatic impact on what our possibility is going to be in terms of profitability going into the end of this quarter and especially the end of this year. So with that being said, shout out to everybody that is here. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab community. We bring you meaningful tools, content, resources, and of course, the best empowering community here on the space. And not frou-frou, not cheesy. No, we're here for crypto. We're here to make money, yes, but we're also here to make sure that we can practice gratitude, appreciate each other, appreciate the fact that we still have the authority in our hands to make the decisions that will impact our future. We are not victims here. Even when we fuck up, we'll take responsibility. And I'm not talking about me specifically. I'm talking about we should all know that about ourselves, yourselves. When you look in the mirror, tell yourself, I've messed up. I made stupid decisions. But that does not define you. We all are defined by how quick we get back on our path, how willing we are to learn, and how we can basically shape our future by, like this post right here from Mark Yusko, failure equals edge. Don't call me lucky. I failed more times than you tried. Most people fail. Maybe they fail again. Maybe they fail a third time. They say it's not for me. They give up. And it could be about anything. It could be crypto, could be trading, could be investing, could be relationships. It's the question of, when are you going to take responsibility for the parts that we've had in the areas we failed so that we could step into a better strategy in any of those aspects of our life so that we can succeed? It's about getting back on that path and doing it. So when we dive in to what we want to talk about, we're going to be doing quite a bit of TA today. We also saw it's not just Trump administration coming in. It's also Gary Gensler leaving, and the U.S. court system is now demanding the SEC explains itself for denying Coinbase's request for crypto-specific regulations. So they're basically saying, SEC, you guys have been absolute jackasses. Give us reasons why you're being jackasses. This is phenomenal. So we're seeing a concerted effort throughout our sort of administrative, judicial, and legislative, all leaning a lot more crypto. And it's not the new president-elect administration coming in. We're seeing the wind shift. This is the most bullish time in history for crypto. And when we dive into this, we also see, check this out, one of those executive orders, SAB 121 on day one. This is a repeal of the controversial crypto accounting policy requiring, AKA limiting, banks from holding digital assets to count them as liabilities on the bank's own balance sheet, AKA banks, if you're going to hold it, you have to list this as basically a debt, as a liability, not as something that is positive on your balance sheet, basically suppressing their ability to hold, or especially limiting their willingness to hold Bitcoin and crypto assets on their balance sheet. So we're seeing movement across the board in terms of this bullish architecture that was systematically designed to limit the Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem growth is now being dismantled before our eyes. And then we got the PPI data today. Tomorrow we get CPI. It's going to be, I'm guessing there's going to be some chop. If we get under expectation, it's kind of a double-edged sword because we want cuts, but cuts really don't matter because even right now we have lower interest rates than we did last year. So whether we get a cut or not shouldn't really affect what Bitcoin's price is going to do, but there's going to be speculative movement on all this. But today we saw great results from the PPI. U.S. Producer price rise, 0.2%. The estimate was 0.3%. Producer price rise, 3.3% year over year. Estimate was 3.4%. Came in better than expected. U.S. December core PPI unchanged. Estimated, let me expand that. Estimated unchanged. So at 0.3, and then the core PPI rise is 3.5. Estimate was 3.8. So this is good because it's essentially showing the leading edge of what CPI will do. If things cost more to make, then things are going to be more expensive. So then you get inflation. So the leading thing before inflation is PPI, which is a producer, how much it costs them to do things, and it's coming in under estimate. So we're getting positivity here, and it gave a bit of boost in the market. We saw it over a 1% increase in Bitcoin's price the second, basically within the moment that this came out. So this definitely had positive impact there. Now all this move around the price. In the short term, people are just confusing themselves. Bitcoin's price returns over various time periods. 1 week, oh my God, we're down 4.5%. It's over. 1 month, we're down 5%. It's really over. Oh shit, 1 quarter, we're up 53%. Half the year, we're up 62%. 1 year, we're up 124%. And people, and some of you were worried about this. What is this? A center for ants? Let me know if you know what movie that quote's from. But we are sitting so perfectly, as I just mentioned, with the Trump executive orders coming out, likely with Ross Ulbricht getting his sentence commuted, with the U.S. court system asking the SEC, why the hell have you guys been jackasses? What is the reason? The suppressive architecture that has been trying to limit the growth of Bitcoin and the adoption of Bitcoin and crypto is now being systematically dismantled before our eyes. January 20th onward is going to usher in an entirely new era for Bitcoin and the altcoin and crypto ecosystem. It becomes much easier for venture capitalists to invest in this market. It becomes much easier for banks, especially if the SAB 121 is repealed or removed on executive order. Banks can then now start to add Bitcoin and crypto to their balance sheets, much like we just saw with the bank in Italy just buying $1 million worth of Bitcoin. What we're looking to over the next year and a half, but really the next 40, 50 years, the foundation is built. This next time period, especially right now, is the most exponential opportunity we're going to have probably in our lifetime. So the question you have to ask right now is, what are you doing about it? Are you prepared to take advantage of this market rather than jumping out, failing one more time, over leveraging yourself, losing money before the best bull run of our lives? Right now is the time. So let's dive into the data. Let's look at some TA. Let's look at what these levels are on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Link, Avalanche, the AI agent space that just had a major pullback. Is there another run in store? Well, let's get into it. I'm going to run through some of these tabs that I have here. You can't see the tabs, but we're going to be getting to this TA very quickly here. But remember, just a reminder, Bitcoin and crypto adoption outpacing how fast the internet adoption went. If we followed that same metric as the rate of adoption for the internet, we will have over 1 billion people using Bitcoin by 2030. That is more than a 10x. It's depending on what metric you're looking at. Let's go conservative, 5x. That's a 5x in use case from users. It's more closer to about 8 to 10x in terms of the actual users of Bitcoin and crypto. That's just a user base. In addition to that, it's not just the rate of adoption that's running away from us. Let me actually see here, right here. We also see the hash rate is up 9x. The hash rate is the strength of the security on the network. Some people say Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. How the hell can Bitcoin have no intrinsic value if it is an exponentially stronger computer network than any computer network in the history of the world? If you combine Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft together, the Bitcoin network is stronger on an exponential level than all of those computer networks combined. So how can you say that that Bitcoin does not have value? And this is just a talking point for all of you, for all your friends, family, because we all have people in our life, probably the majority of people in our life outside of our crypto bubble here, that still don't get Bitcoin. It has no value. Well, how can Google have value? How can Microsoft have value? How can Facebook have value? How can Instagram have value? How could Snapchat have value? All they are is computer networks that deliver something. Well, Bitcoin is a computer network that delivers the ability to transact stored value, right? So look at this. Now, when we think about where the price is going, if the intrinsic value, the strength of the network is up 9x since 2021, and this is when the China crackdown on mining happened, a network 9 times stronger and more secure than the last cycle, with 9 times stronger than the last cycle, with now also a pro-crypto administration coming in less than a week. Don't get fooled by this liquidity sell-off. They're trying to get you to give your capital, your assets to somebody that's smarter than you. And if you sell, then you're the idiot, you're the dummy, and you have to just take it on the chin and say, I'm not going to fuck this up again. Now, if you're buying and selling, fine. If you're trading, fine. You don't do it with your whole portfolio. You're trading against algorithms out there. Now, I trade regularly, but I trade with a very small percentage of my portfolio, and I make sure that I keep my win rate above 51%. Yes, that's all you need. Now, I try to keep it in about 65 to 70% range. But again, I do it with a small allocation of my portfolio. And as I take profits, some of it goes into long-term holdings, some of it goes into, stays in the trading wallet. You know what I'm saying? And then also periodically, I'll take some of that cash out and just affect my day-to-day life. So not all of this is just numbers on a screen. But remember, 9x stronger. The intrinsic value of Bitcoin is 9 times what it was in 2021. And yet the price is not reflecting that yet. So let's just remember that. And then we come over here and we realize, oh my God, the price broke down. And look at this. It was a bit of a washout. Lost this, I think it's a Kijun line here on the Ichimoku clouds, but lost this moving average. But look at this. Nice bullish hammer, which is a reversal candle setup for a potential move to the upside. So when we're going to look at some more data here as well. We looked at that. We do have some bearish concerns though, and that is this right here, this chart right here. Now this is inverted, as you can tell, 110, 108, 106, 104, 100. So this is showing a potential fractal that the dollar may be getting much stronger. This would not be good for our assets in the near term if this happens. This may not happen, but we're seeing the sort of directional path this is kind of following pretty closely. If this happens and the dollar does get a lot stronger, it doesn't mean Bitcoin can't go up. It just, if Bitcoin is going up, this is going to suppress how the velocity and speed at which it could go up is one. And two, it also could mean that maybe we're just held kind of hostage at these price levels for a little bit. But this is not an absolute one way or another for the crypto market in terms of bullishness, but we do need to pay attention to there may be some price or some risk on suppression coming in if this does follow that path. So just note that. But then we get bullish again. Meta's board has advised Meta to basically allocate a portion of the $72 billion to Bitcoin. We'll have to see how that plays out. Again, we saw Microsoft have the same sort of deal with the shareholder vote December 10th, I believe, December 10th or 15th, one of those. They passed. They said maybe later, but not now. But when one of these tech companies does move into building a strategic reserve, it's going to also start that sort of windfall, the domino effect of other corporations stacking in to their corporate treasuries, sort of in a competitive sort of arms race to hold Bitcoin. So we need to be aware of that. And again, no matter how many times you fail, once you stop trying, that's when you really fail. If you fail, you try again and you try again and try. You haven't really failed until you stop. Most people are not lucky. They just try harder or longer. So just remember that. Now, getting into what we want to talk about. Now we're going to go and look at some TA here. We're going to be breaking this down, everybody. This is what we're looking at. Boom, previous cycle. The cycle before that, you can't see, but it's right here, same thing. Breakout, little sideways action. Breakout, a little sideways action, kind of retest, launch. Breakout, a little sideways action, kind of retest, and then launch. We're kind of in this stage right here, kind of in this stage. You can't see it, but I'm leaning much more strongly towards upside than downside. I am prepared for downside as I've been outlining the downside targets so we know where they are in case it does happen, that it doesn't catch us off guard. However, I do think up is more likely. And so that's what we're going to be looking at. We see BlackRock added a little more. We're getting a little negative flow. We have seen a little bit of exodus currently on the negative flows on ETFs, maybe causing a little sell pressure. However, when we look at where we're at in the cycle and we come back over here and we look at the cycle bottom, measuring from cycle bottom, we are still completely on track. Even if we do have the sell-off down to 77K, which I think is a little unlikely. I think it's more going to be like an 85K, 86K if we do get a sell-off with a pretty strong buy area. But we have also a perfect legitimate reason looking at this measured from these three different cycles, 2017, 2021, 2024. We have a perfectly legitimate reason why this could just push up from here, could go sideways from here, could go down from here. But I do think looking over this year, either way, any way you cut it, the price action is going to be much higher. So any downside price action, I'm not mad at. Is it frustrating in the exact immediate term because we want it to go up? Sure. But then when I realize I want as much Bitcoin and as much crypto as possible, if this does dip, it does give us that opportunity. So let's dive into it. Let's look at what the data says. Everybody, let me know the 2 coins you're most excited about between now and the end of March. Type it in the live chat right now. If you're on Twitter, type it, expand. I just want to remind you all, when you guys are watching here on Twitter, if you click, if you see this, you can type here, hello, everyone. You can type, oops, why is it not popping up? Discard. There we go. If you type there, it pops up in my little live chat window here as well. Let's start building the community on the Twitter. For whatever reason, you guys don't chat. Get in there. If you don't see that, you can also, click on it, make it, you can make it larger. And if you're not seeing it, just exit out and you see that, blah, blah, blah. Shut up, Kelly. There you go. Just wanted to show you guys that. And remember, we do giveaways throughout the week. All you have to do to enter is hit that retweet, hit that like button, and we give away some stuff from our sponsors. Shout out to them real quick before we dive into the TA. Best crypto cold storage solution out there. Proud to be partners with Arculus. Head over to getarculus.com. It's one tap, total security. It's honestly, this is my favorite. It's one of the easiest crypto cold storage solutions to use, as well as being, I think, one of the easiest. GetArculus.com. Use code BitLab, BITLAB 20, BitLab 20 for 20% off. And also, we give these away throughout the week as well. And then, of course, NordVPN, if you want to make sure to protect your identity, not just in crypto, but also just from your identity getting stolen, from your banks getting hacked, all that. It's always great to use a VPN. Head over to nordvpn.com/BitLab. And you get, when you sign up through that link, nordvpn.com, nordvpn.com/BitLab, and you will get 4 months free. This is like $2 or $3 a month. So shout out to our channel partners. And of course, CoinW, where we got the free traders group. If you come right down here in the link right here, join our free traders group. There's a link, sign up right there. All you have to do is deposit $100. It's your money. You trade with it. You get bonuses up to $30,500. I think they match the first $100, the first $200, so on and so forth. So you get some free money to trade with, and you get access to the Signals Lab. So shout out to that. Now let's go ahead and look at what these levels are. When we refresh this and we look at what's happening in the market, we still, as bullish as we want to be, we still have some liquidity below us here. We have the perfect recipe between now and next week. I would say probably through about Tuesday. Perfect recipe for reasons for the price to wash out to the downside, especially with the CPI reading that's coming out tomorrow. CPI reading is coming out tomorrow, likely will bring some volatility into the market. So let's be prepared. If this does dip down in here, was this 95? Okay, back to 94, even all the way down to 92. And this is looking at the 24-hour chart on the liquidation maps. All these very bright areas show where there's high pockets of likely liquidity that could very easily be grabbed because people have leveraged long positions. You come down and you cause this little cascade, basically a long squeeze, and which tends to add a bit of a cascading squeeze price to the downside, force closing all those longs. AKA force closing a long means causing a sell in the market. So this is free liquidity in the market. Very likely that we could get that filled out. But when we look at the price action here, remember, all we've seen right here so far is the price action bounce, big washout, hammer candle, likely reversal. And what we got the reversal. We broke above these highs. but we have not yet been able to clear this golden pocket right here. The golden pocket is a measurement, the Fibonacci measurement, which is, for those of you that don't know who Fibonacci is a famous mathematician who basically looked at the regularity of patterns in nature. Yeah, this isn't just a trading tool. A Fibonacci sequence is the regularity of patterns in nature that he sort of outlines as sort of the governing equation for how things are organized in nature. Now, why would that relate to trading and looking at price candles? All these price candles is a reflection of human psychology of bullish and bearish sentiment. So when you see humans get overexcited into the zone, boom, and this was also, we pointed this out earlier, if you measure this from the, when you measure this from the top, Fibonacci to the bottom, look, golden pocket, 0.618. This is the golden ratio. This is a ratio by which flowers organize their petals, which is why they're always so perfectly symmetrical. Or a nautilus shell is so perfectly symmetrical with the chambers getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a 0.618, 1.618, 2.618. It literally is the golden ratio of nature. And we all, very more regular than you want to admit, we have these bounces up that come into a golden pocket and reject. Okay, bounce up, golden pocket, reject. So what we're seeing right now, it doesn't mean it has to continue down, but we're not ultimately super bullish in this small time frame until this price action can be taken out above this golden pocket. In addition to that, we also see this descending level of resistance that's in here. So maybe we're getting a little bit of, this is a little bit far-fetched, but maybe we're getting a little bit of a target in here. Maybe we chop through this week. You see the dates at the bottom? This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, right in here. This would be Sunday, Monday. This is when the inauguration is going to happen. Does that mean we're going to immediately launch after that? Probably not. I think we're going to get some impulses that are going to wash people out, both up, both down, before we get the move. This is what I've been talking about for the last 2 months, 3 months. We've been talking about even this bearish structure that is very likely going to set up for a washout to the downside before it moves to the upside. Currently, we got that once. Does that mean it's done? No, we may get one more. But we need to pay attention to what's happening right now because we're seeing how this lack of breaking through this range right here, this $103,000 to $108,000 range, and actually showing risk on, without seeing what the Fed's going to do, without seeing what the CPI, there's still uncertainty in the market at the moment, which is why price is kind of hanging out here. Everybody wants to be bullish because the data is so bullish about what's coming in the next coming years. But in the near term, if all these institutions and big players are starting to get involved, and this market is tiny comparative with other markets all these big players are in, it stands to reason it's likely that there's some suppression going on in price, and they're trying to get people committed short. They're trying to get some crashes coming in. So if we are to remain bullish, let's take advantage of those dips, because I think it's more of a manipulation than the price actually coming down. If it does come all the way down to 74, that is the institution saying, let's wash these weak hands out. I'm a buyer here like nobody's business down at these levels if that happens. But I am leaning more bullish. In fact, it wouldn't be out of the question for price action to come up in here and, do this, wash out, fake you out, come down, get one more wash out, boom, boom, boom. That is a very real possibility for price to do something like that. So let's just keep our wits about us. Okay, come on, you piece of dumb dog shit mouse mother. You guys ever have trouble with some specific things on your computer where no matter how many times you do it, you have to click it 14 times and you're like, is this thing messing with me right now? Patience, goose fraba. All right, now coming over to what we really want to talk about, the altcoins. We talked about the breakout here, the bounce on this previous resistance, now support. Oh, we came up right into the band that we had already outlined. Rejected, came back down right to the same trend line. The chart is giving you the map of what areas to look to. Now look, it came right back up into the same area on the low side. Does this mean alts are going up from here? Well, we don't really know until the others. This is everything outside of the top 10, as you see right here. I mean, that means when we're looking at this, organized by the size of the market cap. How much money is in each ecosystem? Don't account for any of the top 10. Let's look at every other altcoin out there. So it's a really great metric to really see what's going on in the altcoin space. Okay, until this breaks above this, finds support and continues, we're still in kind of no man's land in terms of the certainty for alts. This very well could get rejected, come down. This would actually be bullish if we found support here, which is where this bounced, which just bounced a little bit above, and then we'd have a higher low. But if this comes down and loses this, then we're likely coming back down here, losing another $20, $30 billion in the market caps for altcoins, which would probably be anywhere from 7 to 30% dips on your altcoins. The higher percentage dips will be for the smaller market cap coins. The smaller dips would be for, things like Avalanche, Link, all that kind of stuff. But when we look at that, we understand we are still setting up for the next major move. We could get another washout before that happens. We have to, yesterday was a full moon. It has historically brought some more bullishness in the market, but it doesn't need to be on the same date. And I'm not saying this from like astrology, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying just on the precedence of, if you look at it like any data signal, as silly as this is, you can't deny the fact that when you get full moons in the market, look at this, full moon up, full moon up. We crashed after, but full moon, are we getting up? We also saw right here, look, full moon up, full moon up, full moon up, full moon up. Crash after, but full moon up, full moon. You see, so you're seeing a pretty high regularity of the. Now, does it have anything to do with the moon? Who knows? Does it have more to do with the day count? Roughly 30 days between full moons, roughly 30 days between new moons, right? There has been seen in crypto markets and other markets as well, markets in general, 30-day and 60-day cycle swings of bullish sentiment and bearish sentiment. So does this stand to reason? Well, look at this. In addition to the full moon, look at this. Boom. Who cares about the moon? Look at where this is also holding support. On this trend line that comes all the way back here, where this found support in early November, where this got rejected in late October, where this got rejected here in September. You could actually even extend this out further. Look at this. All this rejection, support. I would argue this probably goes back all the way back into here, but we're finding support here for Bitcoin. If we can maintain this support, shout out Falco, $5 super chat. Clearly werewolves are bullish. Maybe that's the case. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I do appreciate it. Always helps keeping the market going. Oh my God. We got Raghav Malpani. My bad. I did not see your super chat. What's your take on XRP? Well, XRP, let's get into that. That's what I want to talk about. XRP and Solana just got, the acknowledgement that's very likely they're going to be getting some positive movement on ETF. Some ETF movement here in the States. And if that were to happen, that would bring another $3 to $8 billion and likely sort of projected sort of flows to those electronically traded products on, that gives stock market access to buy crypto. So people that aren't in crypto, mom, pops, my mom's never going to go in the crypto market and buy crypto, but she, I got her to buy MicroStrategy. She might buy ETF, but these access points could bring a huge amount of excitement, speculative push, but also liquidity to the market. But separate from that, even just, look at this bullishness. Bull flag, breakout, bull flag, breakout. Kind of a bull flag a bit. We can delete this line right here. It's more like a bull, a little bit of a bull flag there, bull pennant. Breakout, find support. Now break out and above. This is what we want to see. Everybody, when you're looking for breakouts, picture this as a trend line, okay? You want to see a breakout of that zone, a retest back to that line that you broke out, and this movement right here. You're not so concerned about the bounce. You're concerned with it taking out that high. So what this would look like right here is this high right here. See, breakout, comes down, retest, now breakout. It took out this high. Not only did it take out, it came down and retested it again with a washout. But then this is one of the more bullish charts in the crypto market right now. This is looking excellent, really excellent. So what we're looking at right now is the price action is trying to take out these sort of highs right here. We have a little wick here, but if this were to really move, if you do it kind of conservatively measure this out, this is suggesting a very realistic target. Boom, up here in the $4.71 to $5 range. Now there's a red line there. What is that red line? It's right in line with where the 2.618 fib extension is. The golden ratio projection about where is a reasonable target to look for. Now, when you have a price action target, meaning you see this flagpole, we measured this flagpole. This is a bull flag. You measure the bull flag, right? You take this projection, measure this out like this. And when you have a targeted projection from price action that is in line with, a fib extension, this is telling you that this is kind of a good, reasonable target for price to get to. Does that mean that's all it could go? No, shit, it could go to the 3.618. It could go all the way up here to the 5.618. Do I think it's going to get to $9 or $10? Probably not. Is it impossible? No. But this is telling me that when the price gets up here, I'm going to start looking to take some profits off the table here at about, I would front run this a little bit, 430 all the way up here into basically the $4.50 to $5 range, and see what's going on with the market. But this is excellent for XRP. This is so damn bullish. Then we look at Solana, and Solana is already, guys, do you guys remember how far Solana came? I mean, look at this, all the way down here in the sevens, all the way up there. That's a 31x, 32x from here to the top. Does that mean it can't go further? No, but this is showing that, this, I think, is representative of how far down this went was because of some of the tied affiliations people were associating Solana with FTX. And it's not, it's two different things. And so people recognize that, boom, and this is just absolute moonshot. So look at this. If we measure this out, option T, this is a giant cup and handle. If that's the case, let's measure this. Option T, we have the neckline kind of right there. Option T, measure from the top to the bottom. Now, this is going to be astounding. Do I think this is going to happen? Maybe, but this is a pretty ridiculous target. Fucking $4,800. I think that's a little lofty. Is it possible? Sure. But this is a little bit lofty. I don't see $5,000 happening this cycle. Okay. I don't see that. That's just an astronomical number. Do I see something? And I already have it marked out from a long time ago. I think $600 is very doable. The 2.618, just under it. And Solana is another one of those things I do think is, more on the likelihood side of getting an ETF, but also has a lot of corporate positivity around it and use case and implementation and the meme market and how easy it is to be deployed. Now, what I see a lot of analysts saying is somewhere in the 3.618 to 4.618, the sort of $900 to $1,200 range. I think a lot of people are looking at. Do I think it's going to get there? We're going to have to see how bullish this market is in the face of the dollar still getting stronger. Do we not get rate cuts? Does the traditional market start going into a potential recession? There's a lot of things on the table. We're going to have to see what happens after January 20th. Is there new global liquidity coming in? But these are two very realistic targets for me. This $700 to $1,200 range, this whole box, 700 all the way up here. I think anywhere in here, I would start scaling out above 700, 10%, 12%, every 2 or 3 weeks, all the way up here into this 1,300. I think anywhere in here, it's going to depend on what the market is moving forward, the landscape for global markets, finance, and so on and so forth. But then we got Link also. I'm so bullish on Link, everybody. So bullish on Link. Massive symmetrical triangle. If you measure this is, I'm going to do it a little bit conservative. Measure of symmetrical triangle. That measure move points to a 300, over $300 chain link. Now, do I think that's possible? Yes. I think what's going to be more likely is we kind of take some, healthy measurements here. And for instance, like this move right here is a bit of a bull flag. Measure that out. Oops. Measure this out. This suggests, the next sort of move will be in this sort of $50 to $70 range, which would be taking out the previous all-time high. Great. But I think somewhere in these zones, which I've already marked out and shared with you guys, but I want to show you again, these zones, safe top around the 3.618, 180. If things are really moving, we start seeing some some really good movement in the market. I think a 275 target is reasonable. Like somewhere in the 220 to 275 target, this would be kind of hype. I would start scaling out once we get above the 2.618. And I don't mean scaling out, taking everything out. I mean taking 10%, 12%, healthy profits, rotating them out, maybe into things that haven't moved yet, maybe out into cash. But if we do see, remember Chainlink is very tied in with Swift, the largest global payments network. And then also DTCC. Between those two alone, that's quadrillions of dollars, trillions of dollars being processed and managed and helped and integrated with Chainlink. So there's a possibility we see Chainlink at $1,000, but I'm not betting on it because of the way these markets move. I think if we see somewhere in the $200 range, it would be a great thing. And Chainlink, guys, the implementations and everything on it. And then we see things like Avalanche, golly, look at this, came right in the golden pocket, rejected back down. Let's go ahead and delete some of this stuff so we can see. There's a little bit of bearishness here with the potential. Let's go to the 2 hour with the potential sort of bear flag, next leg down. And we're kind of at the turning point right now for Avalanche. If Avalanche can't get, God dang it. If Avalanche pushes up into the zone, currently this is just a breakdown, retest, potential continued breakdown. If the market as a whole really starts to get some bullishness into next week and beyond, then we want to see this move to the upside. We want to see it break back above this 30. I mean, look at this. This is very interesting. So we have a cross section here of this previous support, now resistance, also resistance. We want to see this clear, and then the next leg up is going to be up here in the 40 zone, which is this longer trend line. But I do think, guys, I think things are going to be shaping up into the bullish territory into the end of this month. This big washout that we had, even if we get one more final washout, I'm taking advantage of it because I'm so damn bullish and everything. Green Day Prophet says, my base case for Solana this year is 560s. If things go absolutely berserk, I could see it up in the 800s though. Yeah, I think the $600 range is a healthy range. I think if things really go berserk in the market, I think things are going to go really berserk. I could see the $900 to $1,200 range for Solana. And then Ondo, guys, I'm still super bullish on Ondo. And I mean, this is kind of, we got this sort of descending sort of channel right in here. If this can, I think there's going to be a little bit of a sell-off fear speculation around the token release. Kelly, there's a token release. The token release is a 3-year, 10-year linear token release. It's irrelevant, in my opinion, to the price action. If there's a dip, fear of that is a buying opportunity. I think there's going to be some pretty big announcements at the Ondo conference that they're doing next, in about a month from now. I think it's 28 days or something from now. So I'm super bullish on, I think Ondo and Chainlink are probably the two I'm most bullish on the large caps. But then you got other things like the AI plays and stuff like that. I'm waiting on an invoice to be paid from one of the people I contract with, not here with BitLab. And as soon as I get that money, I'm throwing it all into the market. It's going to be Chainlink, it's going to be Ondo, it's going to be Avalanche, and then I'll probably pick one of the AI agents like AI16Z, maybe Graphane, maybe AI XBT. I will let you guys know, especially in the members community. But everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. That's all we got for today. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. All of you that won stuff over the last 2 weeks. I told you I spent $200 yesterday just on the mailing of sending it to all you guys. I'm gonna have to figure out what I do for you folks that don't live in the U.S. because it cost me almost as much as the thing I was giving away itself. It cost me like $90 to send to somebody in Canada. I was like, oh, you know what? They won, so I'm gonna send it. Big love to all of you. We're heading over to Blockchain Basement now. Let me make sure everything's set up there. They got it all set up. So I'll see you guys later. Adios, muchachos. Over and out. And the graph. Hey, Tenacious B. That's right. All right. Adios.